Hello and welcome to Curry TV. So on this episode, we are starting a new series. It's Christmas plum cakes, all the way from India. Yes. So this is my favorite cake of all times. Now I have fond memories of my childhood where we celebrate Christmas back in India. And this was one of the key cakes that we usually make at home or buy from our local bakery. So for this recipe, I have a friend who shared her recipe with me. So Latha, she's from Seattle. So she has shared her recipes with me. And she said, it'll be best if you feature this on Curry TV. You will love it. So this is her version of how she makes her plum cake. So let's take a look at all the ingredients that we will be needing. So this is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Let me do this. How about if I just introduce all the ingredients to you, and then I'll share the measurements later on as we add it to how the process is done. Okay, so for this we'll be using all-purpose flour, milk, ghee, baking soda, and we have 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour set aside so that we can coat our dry fruits. We have sugar, eggs, vanilla essence, baking powder, caraway seeds. Now these babies are nice. It looks like cumin seed, but it's not. So this is actually called caraway seeds or shajira in your local Indian store. We'll also be using allspice for this recipe. And what makes it different for this cake is we use caramelized sugar. Now this is 1/3 cup of caramelized sugar melted without any water at first, and then added 2 tablespoons of boiling water to this. Okay, so the difference between plum cakes here and plum cakes in India is that we soak our dried fruits and nuts in rum. Now there are many varieties of fruits that you can use. For her recipe, she asked your choice of dried fruits that you get on hand. So I have dates, plum, raisins, figs, apricots, peaches, and cherries in rum for 5 days. I didn't have enough time to soak them for over a year like she mentions in her recipe, but I think 5 days, as she mentioned as a tip, that's what I have done for this. Now I separated the nuts from the fruits. So this is another set of, I've been giving these away as gift as well. So to make my friends' life easier, I've been soaking my nuts and that sounds rude. Shh. Okay, I've been soaking dried fruits and nuts in rum, right? And canning them, giving them away to our friends to make their life easier. In case if they feel like making their own recipe with the dried fruits and nuts, go for it. The least I can do, right? So this in this nut mixer, I have pistachios, almonds, hazelnuts, walnuts, pecans, and almonds. All right, did I mention almonds before? If not, just throw that away. Okay, so without further ado, let's do the first step. The first step is to drain both of this into a strainer and let it sit as we make the rest of the batter. So for that, we need a strainer and a bowl to catch all the excess. So we're going to dump all this. Now don't throw this away. It's all that goody rum, right? As the fruits absorb all that flavor, but when it bakes, all that alcohol evaporates. Along with our fruits, dried fruits, we are adding in our mixed nuts. So that's pecans, walnuts, cashews, almonds, hazelnuts, and pistachios. Let's give it a mix so that the fruits and the nuts get well mixed. With this recipe, you can make 2 batches of this cake, but with the quantity of nuts that I have here, you can make it up to 4. Okay, so I'll show you how it's done. And the reason why I do it this way, it makes life so much easier. I mean, I do not want to wash, even though we have the dishwasher, I do not want to wash all that extra pots and pans or measuring cups. Okay. Now, the nuts and fruits are all well mixed. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. But that's it. Okay. We're going to use a standing mixer. This is my personal favorite standing mixer. And my brother was so sweet enough, and sister-in-law, they were so sweet enough to gift this to me for maybe a year ago for my birthday. It came into so handy. I mean, I love this thing. And he even got me the favorite color. So into this, we need 1 cup of unsalted butter at room temperature. So we have the paddle attachment on. The butter is so soft. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, that's 2 sticks of butter at room temperature. Now it's very important that you have it at room temperature. Okay, along with 1 cup of sugar. This is regular sugar. Now we're gonna start mixing this at low speed and make it nice and fluffy. Okay, our butter and sugar has come to a nice fluffy texture. Now in the meantime, let's get our bowl of flour ready. Now I have a sieve here. This is what I usually for my all-purpose flour and cake mix and whatnot. Now what we're going to do here is I have two separated all-purpose flour. The reason for that is this 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour is actually going into our dried fruits and nuts to coat them so that it doesn't sink to the bottom. So that's for this. I'll keep that to a side. Into this sieve, I'm going to have 2 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. Now she's mentioned that she usually has go through this process multiple times to make sure that it is well mixed. So that's 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay, that's 2 cups of flour along with half a teaspoon of baking soda. All right, and we need 1 1/3 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, next we're going to sift through this. Oh, she also mentioned this is the perfect time to add in our allspices, just a pinch. That's a good pinch. Okay, now it's a pinch. Okay, now let's sift through this. She actually does this 3 times just to make sure that it is well mixed and ready to go. All right, now that's all good to go. Next, what we need to do is slowly add our caramelized sugar and milk. That's 5 tablespoons of milk along with 2 tablespoons of butter or ghee, clarified butter. Okay, let's give it a good mix. Good. Now the particles that you see is particles of ghee. Don't worry about it. Once we put this through the mixer, it will mix in well. So the next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to beat the melted caramelized sugar and milk along with clarified butter, which is called ghee, into the standing mixture. Give it a good mix. The caramelized sugar gives a nice rich look to that cake. So that's why we caramelize it. Now, before we add our flour mix into the standing mixture, we are going to coat this dried fruits and nuts along with 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. This will actually prevent from all these nuts and fruits to sink to the bottom of the cake. Now, if I talk about Latha, she used to live in Portland and then she moved to Seattle. So I've known her for many, many years, and her kids are so well talented, and I love the way they do bring up their kids. It's so nice, and you should see, I mean, where do they have all this energy to keep up with the kids? They have 2 kids, a daughter and a son. They're very talented. I'm not joking. They're well talented, and she's also working. Her husband is also working, and my God, she is so supportive in every single thing that you can think of. So this is well coated and resting. Let that sit. Now, coming back to our flour mixer, we're going to crack all our eggs one at a time before it goes back into the standing mixture. Now, the reason why we do that one at a time, in case if you get a bad one, you know what to do. That's one. Let the standing mixture go. 2, 3. I specifically asked, do I need to separate the eggs, the white and the yolk? And she said no, she doesn't usually do that. So I was like, okay, great. Perfect. Five beautiful eggs into the mix. Voila, our batter is coming. All right, it's time to add in our half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay. Good to go. Now all left is this mixture and this all-purpose flour with baking soda and baking powder. Let's give it a mix with this caraway seeds, or also known as shajita. Right? Very good. It's always best to scrape the sides of the standing mixture so that you know that all that sugar and butter and everything is well combined. Back again for a good 1 minute. Okay, that's pretty good. And take it out of the okay. Once you have mixed it, this is what it looks like. Don't worry about the curdling part. It will come together. Trust me, it will. Okay, so we just added 1 tablespoon of caraway seeds to our all-purpose flour mixture. Now we're going to slowly add in our flour mixture to our egg batter. Okay, we don't want to overdo the cake mix. Third batch, our final batter of, okay, that was our last batch of flour mix. I'm going to add it to this. So now you just saw how I mix my batter. Now we haven't added our dried fruits or nuts yet. So we need 1 cup of mixed nuts and fruits. Okay, that's a half cup measurement. So that's half and 1. There. Give it a good mix now. Perfect. That is perfection, my dear friend. That is perfection. Now, even if you don't have a standing mixer, you can still do this. I'm just being lazy. I had to make a whole batch of this to give it to our friends and family here. So now for this, did I mention what the temperature we need to cook this in? It's going to be 350 for 35 minutes. Let's preheat our oven for 350. This is my series where I call a friend to help. No, I want to show her what the batter looks like. Okay, let's see if she picks up the call. Hi, Ladechi. How are you? You're on live on YouTube, Curry TV. Okay, Chechi, so we did follow your directions as you mentioned, right? Okay. So you want to see the batter, right?
Yeah, of course.
How does that look like?
Yeah, can you take the little scoop?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it looks good.
Uh-huh.
You know, did you pour the caramel?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Okay. I think that should be perfect.
Okay, so my oven is preheating at 350 for, and we're gonna put this in a pan for, it's a 9-inch pan that I have already buttered it and floured it, dusted with all-purpose flour. Now this is going to go in for 35 to 40 minutes. That's what you mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your recipe. All our viewers are watching this. Thank you. We'll see you soon, right?
Thank you and all the best. Like I'm excited to be.
This is our first time doing a call a friend through YouTube channel. So they're eager to see more of your recipes. How about that?
For sure.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon. All right, babe?
Sure.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. All right, she approved it. All right, so our oven is being preheated to 350 degrees. In the meantime, let's separate this batter into 2 equal parts. All right? Just eyeball this, and now what we are looking for is halfway through this pan is what we are going to fill up. Now this is a 9-inch pan with 3-inch deep. I'm just going to fill it up to halfway through, and I'm going to make all this batter come to its sides so that when it bakes, it comes to a nice flat surface. Okay, let's tap it for luck. Now the next tip that Latha mentioned was that once we start baking plum cakes, usually the moisture inside will be so dry. To prevent that, she actually keeps a pan full of water on the side or on the very lower level and put the cake on this medium level. So our oven is ready. Let's take a look. Ooh, nice. I got my pan of water ready. It goes on the very bottom. All right. On top of that, the middle rack is where our cake is going to go. So, close it. Let's put a timer. Start. There we go. All right. As per Latha's instructions, we had to bake this for 35 minutes, and just like what she mentioned, it came out perfect. At 35 minutes, when you insert your toothpick in, it came out super clean. So I took it out of the oven and let it rest for 20 minutes on a wire rack, and then I moved it over to our cake platter. So this is perfect. This is a traditional recipe from Latha Santosh in Seattle. I want to thank her so much for sharing her recipe with us, and her family for trying and sharing their minutes with us. So in case if you have missed that clip, go back and check that out. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into Curry TV. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.